Why do I always have these issues now logging into here? You guys see my screen okay? And you're both on mute. I can't hear you.
Yes, I can see.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. We got everybody in? All right, good deal. Oops. My date is cut off, but that's okay. We know what day it is. And that's the wrong date. It's the wrong background. There you go. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for today's month of service presentation of our Money, Health, and Wealth Financial Capability Series. Today, we're here to talk about budgeting and getting control of living beyond your paycheck. My name is Nia Murray. I am the programs coordinator with Neighborhood Recovery Community Development Corporation, and we are one of the partners in the A Month of Service collaboration. Also included is the City of Houston's Department of Neighborhoods, and joining us today, we have Ms. Cecile Carlson. In addition to that, we have our sponsoring presenter who has been with us for quite a few years now, Ms. Monet Cheney with Family Houston, who's going to be providing information for you today about budgeting. But also included in our partnership is the Earl Carl Institute, Texas Legal Services Center, Houston Volunteer Lawyers, the Harris Central Appraisal District, Harris County Tax Assessor Collector's Office, as well as Lone Star Legal Aid. And together we make up a month of service. And basically what a month of service is, it's a collaboration of all of our organizations coming together on a monthly basis and offering a variety of different workshops, resources, and information to the community about asset building, asset protection, the maintaining of generational wealth, and community empowerment. So we are grateful to have you all join us today, and thank you all. If you're new to the Amos a series of presentations, we would like to welcome you to the Amos family. If you have been here before, we want to thank you all for coming back. This collaboration could not be as effective as it has been without the participation of the community leaders like yourself for joining in and being eager to get this information. We know that there are a lot of underserved communities that are out there that don't have access to a lot of information, don't know where to go for particular resources or services that are either free or at low cost. So we decided to collaborate several years ago, back in 2017, 2018, and join all of our efforts together and combine a lot of our workshops and programs so that we can try to, create a larger impact and reach more people and get more information out to as many people as we possibly can. So this virtual platform has allowed us the opportunity to reach not only different parts of the city of Houston and Harris County, but the surrounding counties, as well as different parts of the state of Texas and even across the country in some instances, because we do record this session. We do also broadcast live on our social media platform on either Facebook or on YouTube. So we are able to reach a lot more people now than we were before when we were doing this series in person. However, I am here back at our original location where we did start with the Money, Health, and Wealth Financial Series at Nubia Square, and I will be hosting the classes from here every month. So that way, if we get people that don't have computers or don't know how to work the Zoom or what have you, they'll have the opportunity to actually come in and sit and watch the presentation and get their questions and issues and things like that addressed as well. So, so if you're in the neighborhood and you'd like to join us, then know that this is an option as well. But with that being said, this is your opportunity to ask whatever questions that it is that you have as it relates to this particular topic of our financial series. We have the expert here that can give you guys the most up-to-date information. We ask that you be as interactive as you'd like to be. Feel free to type your question into the chat. If you have a comment, put it in the chat. You can either also unmute yourself and or raise your hand and we can call on you, and you can address the presenter that way as well. If you are joining us on social media, on YouTube or on Facebook, please feel free to type your question into the comment section, and I'll make sure that your question gets addressed at the end of the presentation as well. So with that being said, the information that we do present here is for educational purposes only. None of our legal presentations that we do offer are to be considered any kind of legal advice. However, we do encourage you to reach out to any of our legal service partners that if you find yourselves in need of any kind of civil legal assistance. But in this scenario, if you find yourselves in need of some financial need of financial coaching, and those types of services, Family Houston is the organization that you would call for that. And Monet is going to go into more detail a little bit later on about the other services that are offered for free with Family Houston as well. So they have a couple of new programs that we are all excited to hear about. And glad to see that they are offered in the community as well. So with that being said, welcome again. And we hope that you all receive the information that you came here to get. So we're glad to see you. Glad to see you all with your cameras on and everything. So now we can kind of put some faces and names together. That's great to see as well. So thank y'all for joining us. Miss Cecile, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can go ahead and get started?
Sure thing, Nia. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Cecile Carlson. I am part of the Amos collaboration through the City of Houston Department of Neighborhoods. And I want to take a moment to welcome everybody and thank you guys for being here, and also thank our presenter, Monet. This is one of my, out of all the series that we do, these are one of my favorite ones, just because all of us got to make money, and all of us are told, go make money so that you can have a roof over your head and take care of your loved ones. But few of us ever get that education on how to make our money last and how to make our money actually work for us. So I include myself in that. I have the most basic education when it comes to finances, but I'm excited to learn. Apologies, as my dogs, you can hear them in the background. I am very excited and to learn today as well, and to be part of this presentation, and to have Monet here with us. I really appreciate your time, Monet, and the dedication that you have committed to this program. And like Nia said, this information is straight from the source, straight from the experts. If y'all know anybody that could use some budgeting tips, tell them to check us out. Tell them to check our webinars out. People that are just getting started off with their first job, people that are trying to get a house, people that are trying to buy a car, people are trying just to level up their finances. Share this link with them, invite them to join us, spread the good word, because this is some really good information. Like Nia said, from the experts, and it's an opportunity also to get some of those questions that you might have answered. So without further ado, just thank you so much, and I'll pass it over to Ms. Monet Cheney. Thank you so much.
All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Monet Cheney, and I'm a senior financial stability coach with Family Houston. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to go into some details about Family Houston Financial Stability Program, as well as a new initiative that we're starting this year to provide financial stability coaching to youth and young adults. But to get started and jump into the presentation, today we will be covering budgeting, getting control of living beyond your paycheck. And just a couple of objectives that we'll be going over is we're going to identify the importance of using a budget to manage monthly spending, as well as identify ways to successfully track daily spending and create a monthly create monthly spending plans. So just thinking about the idea of getting beyond your paycheck, many people live paycheck to paycheck and struggle to cover expenses monthly. So budgeting helps to take control of our finances, reduce stress around finances, as well as build financial security. This presentation will guide you through effective budgeting techniques. So we are going to cover effective ways to start budgeting and make it a habit that you do every month, so you can get in better control of your finances. Because I know just from experience, as well as a coach and helping people budget, how once they get to that financial stability and once they get in control of their money, that stress around finances reduces, and then a lot of things fall in place. So it can be increasing credit score, because now they can pay things on time and manage their debts better. It can be an increase in savings, because now clients were able to find income to put into savings, as well as being able to do things that they enjoy doing and being able to fit in, like, going out to eat every once in a while or shopping. So once you start getting into control of your finances, then a lot of things fall into place that you're wanting to happen. So what is a budget plan? So technically, a budget plan does not mean that you have to cut back on anything. I know a lot of people hear the word budget and they get scared, they get nervous, and they think that they won't be able to do the things that they enjoy doing, or they won't be able to spend their money the way they want to spend their money. But basically, a budget plan is a plan to manage your money by monitoring your income and tracking expenses. That's it. So pretty much it's just knowing how much money you have coming in and how that money is leaving your bank account and where it's going. And what it does, it allows you to get better in control of how you are spending your money, as well as know exactly how much income you're receiving. So I meet with financial coaching clients on a monthly basis. A lot of time in the intake appointment, we always go over the budget for every intake appointment with every client that I meet with. And the first thing I ask is, well, how much income do you make? Well, I don't know, maybe I make around 2,500 or this, that, and the other. So it's never an exact number. This is how much I make. And then sometimes I might be given a gross income versus knowing what the net income is, or take home income that you're actually receiving into your bank account to spend. So again, the budget plan is going to allow you to know that information. So when it comes to a time in your life where you need to determine, can I afford to do this thing? Maybe it's like, can I afford a new car, or can I afford to save? I'm moving, my lease is ending. Can I afford the new rent amount, or my mortgage is going up? Can I afford these things? So when you have a budget plan and you're monitoring your income and tracking your expenses, then you can understand how new expenses or changes in your budget can fit, and continue to manage your income a lot better to maintain financial stability. So let's talk about assessing your financial situation. So getting started with creating a budget plan, you do want to assess your current financial situation and understand what is going on with your money. So firstly, you want to track income and cash flow. So list all sources of income: salary, side jobs, passive income. It can be income from birthdays. And I'm going to go over some more different types of income, sources of income, but track your income and cash flow so you can know how much money you have coming in that month. Next, you're going to track your expenses. So list all outgoing cash flow that is fixed expenses and variable expenses. So you're going to want to know what are expenses that stay the same and reoccurring every month. And usually your fixed expenses, the amount will stay the same. So this can be your rent. I know your rent kind of fluctuate with your utilities, but still your base rent is still the same. Your mortgage is the same, car note is the same, car insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner insurance, those things are fixed expenses that stay the same. Then you're going to look at variable expenses. So what are expenses that fluctuate from month to month? So this can be utilities like electricity, water, gas. It can be eating out, groceries, shopping, personal supplies, entertainment. So look at like what are expenses that vary from month to month. And then lastly, identify your spending habits. So you're going to take the information from tracking your income and cash flow and tracking your expenses, and you're going to identify your spending habits, because we all have spending habits. And spending habits means this is how you spend your money every single month. It does not change. It might change here and there, but for the most part, your habits are pretty much the same unless you make a choice to change what those habits are. So you're going to use that information about your expenses to identify spending habits that affect your overall financial situation. So just say, for instance, if you feel like you're not in a place of financial stability, so what habits are putting you in that financial situation of not being financially stable? And how can you change those habits? If you're in a good financial situation, what are these good habits that you have that are allowing you to be in this good financial situation? And how can you maintain those good habits? Because sometimes we develop good habits, but we fall back into some bad habits. And, you know, our finances, our financial situation can change. So we really want to be focusing on what those spending habits look like and how they affect our overall financial situation, and when do we need to make changes to those habits. So just thinking about income. So again, income is income in cash flow only. So this is money that you're receiving from wage and salary. It can be from public benefits. If you're retired, it can be from Social Security, retirement. If you have children, it can be from child support. And then other income can be, maybe you have side hustles that you do to earn extra income. Maybe you provide some type of service, or you sell products that bring in extra income. It can be birthday money that you receive. It was your birthday, you got some birthday money, or during the holidays, maybe you got gifted some money. Also, I include returns. So if you buy something and you go to the store and you return that item, now you have that money is then coming back to you. You have that money back in your budget to use for something else. So anytime you are receiving money, and it doesn't matter how you receive that money, you have this cash flow or this money to spend on something else or to put towards expenses, then that is income. So when you're and I'm going to show examples of a budget sheet. So when you're creating your spending plan, you're gonna look at like what income did you make last month, and you're gonna write out all your income for the month. So at the end of the month, you're gonna write out all your income that you received that month, and it doesn't matter where that income came from. You're gonna write it all out, because that is cash flow that you have to spend. Now for expenses, your expenses is how you're using that income. So you have your typical expenses will be home related expenses. So that's where you have your mortgage, rent, you have like your utility bills, your phone bill, cable, home improvements. So anything that pertains to your housing. Then there's healthcare, so anything that's pertaining to health and wellness. So this can include like medical insurance, medicines, doctor visits, gym memberships, wellness services, counseling. So anything that pertains to your health and wellness. And then your transportation is anything pertaining to transportation. So how you get around town. That could be a car note, car insurance, gas for your car, public transportation costs, maintenance. So anything pertaining to your transportation needs. And then daily living is your grocery, personal supplies, eating out, shopping, things that you do day to day, just day-to-day things that you do, and paying for those things. Entertainment is the things you do for fun, stuff you enjoy doing. Savings, of course, is when you're putting money away for the future or for emergencies. Debts and obligations is you're paying back people that you owe. And then other expenses just can be any type of miscellaneous expenses or anything that don't fall into these other main categories. And when you are looking at your expenses, again, you want to write down everything you spend your money on. And you're going to gather that information through your bank statements or transaction history. If you're someone that's using cash, then you're going to track your expenses. You might want to write it down or do an envelope system. So you're going to understand what your expenses are by tracking those expenses and then putting things into categories to understand how you spend your money. Okay, so do we have any questions about income and expenses before I move on?
Nothing in the chat just yet.
Okay.
Anybody? Miss April, I saw you look back. Nobody's got a question? Okay.
And also just feel, be welcome to like add, like if you want to talk about things that you do with your budget and how you manage your money, just as long as you don't get too personal because we are recording. But if you want to talk about like some strategies or techniques that you use to manage your money, then feel free to add. Because we do like learning from each other. Just moving on to how do we develop a budget? To develop a budget, you need these things. So again, you'll calculate all your monthly income. So you want to understand your income and cash flow. If you are using a bank statement, this is pretty easy. All you have to do is search your deposits. When you go on like on your banking app or if you go on the bank's website, you should be able to separate all deposits from your expenses. So you can see all your deposits for the month. And then that's where you would calculate all your income. And that can be, income from working. It can be money, like if someone Zelled you some money, returns, or whatever incoming or deposits that you received. If you received cash and you want to track your cash, then of course, you got to be a little bit more, you have to manually write down your cash or deposit your cash into your bank account. So if someone gave you $100 cash and you want to track that cash, then you would either deposit it into your bank account or manually write that cash amount down. And then that goes for like if you someone like maybe you get a check and you cash a check, then again you're going to manually track that cash income or hold on to your paycheck stubs so you can know exactly how much income you received that month. And then next, tracking your daily expenses. So again, this can be if you're using cash, you're going to manually write down all of your cash spending, or you can use the envelope system is a great way to track cash spending because basically you're just dividing up all your cash into different envelopes that match the categories that we mentioned for expenses. And so then you can write down and track how much you're spending out of that envelope, to track your daily spending. And then for those who are using bank accounts or debit cards, then you're going to track your daily spending by reviewing your transaction history on your bank account. And I would say review your transaction. If you're spending money daily, review your transaction history on a daily basis or every other day, because you want to make sure things are posting, and you want to make sure that you're not overspending out of your bank account. And then lastly, determine how much you spend on monthly bills. So these are bills these are reoccurring monthly bills. And you know what your monthly bills are, because these are things they always happen every month. And it can be subscriptions, it can be gym memberships, rent, mortgage, utilities. Reoccurring monthly bills. Make sure that with utilities, you are reviewing your bill statements, because you want to make sure that there's no changes on your bill, or there's no fees being charged. And a lot of times we might have monthly bills. We might be in a promotion period where things are cheaper for so many months, and then your promotion is over and your bill has increased. So make sure that when you're reviewing your monthly bills, that you're actually looking at your bill statements. So if you need to contact those companies to reduce your bill amount, or you need to make changes to your monthly bill, so make sure that you're reviewing your monthly bills by looking at your bill statements. So here are some ways, or here are reasons why it's very important to track your daily spending, because tracking your daily spending is going to help you understand if you are using your money in line with your values and goals. So that just means just making sure that if you're creating a budget plan, when you're tracking your spending on a daily basis, then that's going to make sure that you're sticking with the budget plan that you have created for yourself. And then it's going to help you uncover where can you make changes. So if your budget plan is, I'm only going to spend $200 eating out, and you're just out there eating out and enjoying yourself, and now you're at $150 eating out. So if you're tracking daily and you're paying attention to your spending daily, then you're going to know, like, hey, I need to make an adjustment. So either I'm going to stop eating out, or I need to adjust my eating out budget for this month or for the next month. So it's going to help you uncover where you can make changes, and then it's going to help you spend less. So again, if you're looking at your spending every month and looking at your bank statements, or not statements, transaction history, not every month, but on a daily, weekly basis, then you might start to tell yourself, oh, like, oh man, I went to Starbucks too many times this week. I need to cut back on Starbucks. Or I went to Target and too many times I spent more than I intended on spending. So I'm going to make sure I'm only going to Target and buying what I intended to buy, and not that new outfit or whatever decor item or whatever. So whenever you're tracking your spending on a daily basis, it actually helps you spend less, because you start realizing where you are overspending, and you want to make sure that you're not going over your balance in your bank account. And so if you look at, I do have an example. So if you can see the example, you can see Anthony's day-to-day spending. So this is a way, like if you were to write out your daily tracking, you see how Anthony, he's writing out how much he's been spending per day. And so, and then also he's tracking when he's charging things. So you can kind of see, like, Well, Anthony, he's spending cash and spending money out his checking account, but he's also using credit when he doesn't have enough money to pay for certain expenses. So you see where he went out to eat and he spent $75 on a credit card. And then right here, he went shopping for shoes and spent $115 shoes on a credit card.
Not you, Mr. Anthony, that's watching. So don't get him in trouble while he's sitting there.
Mr. Anthony went to go get you some new shoes.
Give me some ideas, that's all.
It's funny you say that. We were just talking about shoes. We just
But yeah, so the thing with Anthony, looking at his day-to-day spending, he can make choices on, okay, well, let me cut back on some of the spending. Also, maybe I can wait on charging things because if you see his credit card payment, he only making a $50 credit card payment. So obviously he only paying the minimum after, and he spent way more than $50 on his credit card. So just with him tracking this, he can start seeing like what his habits are and where he can make changes with his spending, so he can do a lot better on managing his money and avoiding having to charge a lot of things.
Or go to a payday loan.
Yeah.
Because you're short.
I mean, eventually he'll probably, and then also with him charging all these things, that's interest being added. And so that's just creating a bigger debt problem because he's barely paying down what he's charging. And here are some ways to keep track of your money. So of course, monthly bank statements, those are mailed to your home, or you can download them online. And so with your monthly bank statement, you should get your transaction details and go through your transaction to see how your month went and get an idea of everything. But since these are monthly, you don't get to see this information on a daily or weekly basis. So that's where the online and mobile banking comes in, because with your online banking can be used from a secure computer, and you can view your accounts and do banking transactions. And then your banking apps can be downloaded on your phone. So that would allow you to view your transactions as well as view your balance and make sure you still have enough money in your account before you make purchases. So that online and mobile banking is going to make it a lot more convenient for you to be able to track your spending and see where your money is going, as well to see like when you're getting deposits too. And then you have your customer service number. Calling the bank can get you your current balance. So if you're not very tech savvy and you want to know, well, how much money do I have in my bank account, you can call the 1-800 number for your bank to check your balances as well as the latest transactions, deposits. And if there's any issues, you can speak with a banker. And then also I don't have the ATM on here, but the ATM as well, you can get information about your current balances. And when I worked at Wells Fargo, you're able to get like transactions, like print transactions from the ATM. I don't know if that's still the case, but I know when I worked at Wells Fargo, you were able to do that. But that's another way to check like what your balances are. And then tracking cash, then you manually have to track cash you can record in a notebook. You can use cash tracking. Like this, if you go online, I'm pretty sure you can look up templates to track your daily expenses. And then there's the envelope system. And with the envelope system, again, you make an envelope that meets different expense categories. So you might have an envelope for your rent, you have one for your utilities, one for eating out, groceries. And that's another way to track your cash. And I would say if you're doing an envelope system, either save your receipts. So anytime you spend cash out of your envelope, put the receipt into the envelope, or like maybe on the outside of the envelope, write out to, like, if you bought groceries, you'll put HEB, you put the date, HEB, how much you spent at HEB. And then that can kind of help you keep track of how much cash you have left for groceries, as well as track your transactions better. And then Nia, she has like a bag program that she'll talk about. Do you want to talk about it now or talk about it later?
Every time you mention traffic, I keep flashing it here just to, like, wait a minute, mention us too. But yes, so Neighborhood Recovery has what we call the 30-day bag challenge. So this is our plastic bag. We used to give out little Ziploc bags. I don't know if you could kind of see it, but basically what it is, and let me turn the background off just a second so that you can see. But basically what it is, it's a way to try to get you conscious and keep you aware of what it actually is. Can you guys kind of see it a little bit? But at any rate, it's a way to keep track and to manage of how you're actually spending, and to kind of get you to be a little bit more conscious. And so basically what we did was what we call, this is our 30-day bag challenge. So you put all of your bills, your receipts, your everything in here that you spend. Every time you go to Starbucks, every time you do an upgrade, every time you go to buy a lottery ticket, whatever it is, put it in this envelope. And at the end of the 30 days, take all the receipts out and then add them up. Because a lot of times you don't really pay attention as to where you're spending your money or where it goes. You just know that you got a card and you're swiping, or know that you got Cash App, or somebody Zelled you, or whatever it is that you paid for. But just put it in this envelope, and that'll be a good way for you to track, and you can actually see, like, wow, man, like what she mentioned, I am going to Starbucks, 4 or 5 times a week or whatever, as opposed to, let me go to one of the other stores or order that particular product and make it at home myself. And then that way I'm not spending as much. So it's again, a way for you to just kind of track and just be a little bit more conscious of where it is that you're spending. So if anybody's interested in getting these bags, this is great for kids, great for those teens, especially those that are always in your parents' pockets, trying to, keep asking, or when you get your little allowance or whatever, have them track where they're spending their money at as well. They have to kind of become conscious of that at a young age of where, so that they'll know, hey, money just didn't come out. I didn't go shake that tree in the backyard and hand you out a couple of dollars. Just keep track of it. So, but that's just it.
And I'm glad Nia mentioned us getting money from all these different places, like with Cash App, Venmo. I know Zelle, it goes directly into your bank account. But yeah, if you have multiple accounts, and you're utilizing like PayPal, Cash App, things like that, make sure that you're checking those accounts as well. Because you do want to make sure that you're tracking that income, so you can have an overall view of all the income that you have. Because I know there are some people who use like Cash App for to like pay for things, as well as to receive
Apple.
cash.
Apple Pay, your Apple Pay, they're using the phone to swipe it now.
Apple Pay. Yeah, so there's so many like alternative options to just your traditional checking account. So just making sure that you're reviewing all of those, all of the ways that you're like spending and bringing in income.
Plus, you just want to also be aware that you're not getting scammed or that you're not getting duplicated and things like that, especially when you're using your phone or your card or whatever in multiple places, gas stations or whatever. These little scam artists are quick to, duplicate your card and, start running these transactions that you don't even know anything about. Sometimes people are taking money right out of your account and you never even know. So if you see these small little $1, $2 transactions, and you know that you didn't do any, that wasn't you, then 9 times out of 10 that there's some kind of scam artist that's trying to test your card out or test your account to see if it was you. So make sure that you just, even if not tracking for your spending, check to make sure that nobody's taking anything or duplicating any transactions from your account.
Yeah, and then sometimes there's because recently my sister been noticing how her auto loans provider, they've been taking the money out twice. So she was saying she don't know how it's happening, but she does not have an auto pay set up. So she'll go in and manually pay, but then she'll also see like a day or so later or somewhere she'll see an auto pay. And come to find out, for some reason, this auto pay keep getting set up. And she was like, it was set up at 1 o'clock in the morning. So she was like, I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning setting up auto pay. And so, but because she's looking at her account, she was able to catch that and get it corrected. So it can be fraud, or sometimes it can be an error from a company that you're actually doing legitimate business with. And so you want to make sure that you're looking at your bank account on a regular basis, just to make sure that there's no errors, because sometimes companies, they might charge you twice by accident, or maybe they were supposed to cancel something out and they didn't cancel it, or whatever. So you need to know, like, make sure that you're paying attention. I know we recently, I had to go help a friend, so I had to fly somewhere, and we had to cancel the flights because we had to keep changing the day. And if I wasn't checking my bank account, I wouldn't have known that the airline didn't give me my money back, and I would have to keep waiting for that to be reimbursed to me. So that's why you need to pay attention to your accounts on a regular basis. Also pay attention to how things are being posted, because you do want to look for fraud, as well as you want to make sure. So you might think, oh, I canceled that flight, and then now you're swiping your debit card out there and don't realize that the airline haven't refunded that money back, or they haven't canceled it out of your account. So you're thinking, oh, I got this money in my account, but actually you don't, because it haven't actually been refunded yet. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Like, if you are, out there returning things, or maybe you canceling a service, and you're not paying attention to if that is being refunded, or if it had been canceled and deleted from your account, you might be spending, and then you overdraft your account because that money is not back in your account yet. So you definitely want to make sure that you're looking at your accounts on a regular basis, because you want to make sure that those things are getting reversed, especially if it's fraud. You want to make sure that those fraudulent transactions are getting reversed. And then also, if there's any errors made, you want to make sure that you're able to get those fixed as well, so you can have that money available for you to use for the things that you need to purchase. Okay, so creating a spending plan. So now that we understand keeping track of our income and keeping track of our expenses, now we want to create our spending plan with that information. So you're going to have your net income. So again, that's your take-home income that you receive, as well as any other income you receive for the month. And then you're going to have all your expenses, and you're going to subtract your expenses from your net income, and that's going to give you your monthly net. So that's how much you have left over at the end of the month. So sometimes that number can be negative, or sometimes that number can be positive. Our goal is that within a 30-day span, or within that month, so the first day and the last day of the month, our goal is to be positive, because being positive means that you have a cushion of money left over in your account, and that money will roll over to the next month. And if you're positive every month, then that means that rollover income is going to compound on top of each other. So that means your cushion in your checking account is going to get bigger and bigger as you maintain a positive monthly net in your bank account. And so just thinking about, hold on, I'm going a little bit too fast. So, so just thinking about your disposable income, again, when you take you're going to take all of your income, subtract all of your expenses, and then you're going to compare the two, and that's going to give you your monthly net amount. And so filling out your spending plan, I do have an example here. So when you're filling out the spending plan, you're going to complete the past monthly amounts. So we are at the beginning of March. Right now, you will complete a budget based on February. So everything that happened in February, all the income you received in February, all the expenses for February. And you're going to fill out that information. And that's going to be what your current income is. If you had made a plan for February, then you're going to look at the changes. So did you go over budget, or were you under budget? And then for March, using February's information, you're going to create a new budget plan for March. So some of your spending numbers and income might stay the same. Your income might change in March. So if you're hourly, your income might change, or and you can just kind of do an average. If you're hourly or you receiving tips, you might want to do an average of what your income might be for March. If you receive the same income every month, then you're going to put that same number. And then so you're going to do an estimate of what you think, or what income are you expecting for March. Excuse me. And then under your expenses, you're going to put how you are expecting or wanting to spend for March. So of course, your fixed expenses are all going to stay the same. So that's pretty simple. You're going to keep those the same, unless you are possibly maybe a fixed expense is changing. Like I said, sometimes we have promotions, and the promotion might end. And so you probably was paying $65 for your internet every single month, and now it went up to $75. So of course, you could make changes to your fixed expenses if there was a change to them. Same thing, like if you have subscriptions at the same cost every month, that's still a fixed expense, but your Netflix decided that they're going to increase their subscription, or maybe you decided to make changes to your subscription. So you're going to make those changes for March. And then for your variable spending, then that is where you decide how much do I want to spend for March. So how much I want to spend on groceries. If you on average spend $200 a month for groceries every month, then you're going to put $200. If you're spending, if you feel like you're overspending on groceries, say say for instance, you can spend 200 on groceries, but for some reason you've been spending 400 on groceries, then you can reduce your grocery bill to 200. And then like clothing, maybe in February you needed to buy a new outfit for whatever person, Valentine's Day, you decided you want to buy a new outfit. Well, in March, you don't need to buy new clothes. So maybe you'll put that at 0. Or if on average you're buying clothes every month, you're going to put the average amount. So when it comes to variable spending, you're going to put either what you normally spend, or you'll make adjustments to those based on what you plan to do in March. And this is where you can create a good spending plan for the next month. And this is how you can control how you spend in March to make sure that, you know, all of your needs are getting met, as well as if there's some things or some wants that are happening, or special occasions that are happening, you're making sure that those things get covered. As well as you want to make sure savings is Gabby. I don't see savings for Gabby. So make sure you allocate a savings expense to put money into your savings. And when you are doing your budget plan, look at what your monthly net is going to be based on what that plan is. And then that will let you know, okay, will I be negative for the month? Will I break even? Or will I be positive? And then this is where, based on your monthly net, this is where you can make adjustments in order to manage your money better. So if you're seeing that your monthly net is negative, and so that means you're going to overspend for March, that's where you need to go through your expenses and make changes to make sure that in March you either breaking even or you're going to be positive at the end of the month. So just make sure that when you're creating a budget plan, that you are making sure that you're meeting a goal for your monthly net as to how much you want to end the month with. And, you know, earlier when I said your budget plan does not mean that you have to make sacrifices. If you want to spend the same way every single month on your budget plan, you can. If you want to increase spending in a certain area on your budget plan, you can. You can. It's the budget plan is to determine how you want to spend your money to make sure that you're not overspending. So to make sure that that monthly net is not negative. So just make sure that when you are doing this, it does not necessarily mean that you need to make sacrifices. But if you have to make sacrifices, then you can analyze where can I sacrifice in order to meet a certain goal.
Hey, Monet, Mr. Blackwell has his hand up. I believe he has a question.
Okay.
Do you want to unmute yourself?
Stand by.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
He had it
How you doing?
unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I have 2 questions. Sorry,
Okay.
I was sitting there eating as I was listening. I don't want to change lanes, but I need to throw this out there. Could you touch on the laws in regard to the banking system and overdraft? It seems like at one point, maybe a couple of years ago, they came out with something that was something about banks would stop overdrafting. Or I don't know. Could you please refresh my memory?
From my understanding of that, I think it's transactions that are over a certain dollar amount that they can't charge overdraft fees for. But otherwise, they're still able to charge overdraft fees. I believe the denomination was like $5 or something like that. That if there was any kind of transaction that was under $5, and they can't charge you the 30, 35 whatever that dollar amount for overdraft.
Okay.
But it's not that they were gonna eliminate overdraft fees.
Okay, thank you. And the second question was, I see you have this template or this example or PDF. I was just curious, do you have any sample templates with formulas already? Or you
Yep.
just hadn't got to that yet?
Well, we're gonna send those out to you too.
Got you.
Yep, we got
Okay,
it.
okay.
We got you covered.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about some budgeting tools later that you can use. But yes, I do have different types of templates on Excel and Google Sheets that already have the formulas and everything in there to add up all your expenses and income and let you know what your net is, as well as I do have templates where you can create a budget plan as well as put your actual spending so you can compare the two. But yeah, I would get a little bit more into that on a later slide when I talk about different budgeting tools. And yes, I am familiar that there was some changes with how banks do the overdrafts.
Net values.
I'm so sorry. My Google Home over here.
I'm sure nobody's trying to break in on you now over there.
No, sometimes I Google Home, it'll be listening to me and it'll just start talking. But it was talking about something with budgeting. So I guess it heard me talking about budgeting and it decided to chime in too. But yeah, so there has been changes with how banks administer the overdraft fees, but every bank is going to be different. So you really need to call and understand how your bank does it and what their thresholds are. So you can kind of understand that. And then the other thing I would recommend, if possible, especially with it being tax time, if you are getting extra funds, whether it's tax returns or maybe bonuses, or maybe you did some maybe did something on the side to earn some extra money, put that into a savings account that is connected to your checking account. Just put a little bit of money in there. So if you know that there's a possibility your account might overdraft a little bit, it's good to have a savings that's attached to your checking account with enough money to cover the possibility of an overdraft. Now, you don't want that to be your entire emergency fund, because you still want your emergency fund to be out of sight, out of mind, somewhere where it's maintained. But always keep a little bit of money in a savings that's connected to your checking account to cover any time that there might be an overdraft. Because again, like I was saying earlier, sometimes you might make a purchase and maybe that transaction was canceled, but that money have not been placed in your account just yet, and something else comes out and your account goes negative because those funds was not put back into your account yet. So if you had a savings account connected to your checking account, then the money can get pulled from that savings account to help you avoid a fee. And then what happens is, once that money is refunded, the bank will fix everything. Everything get fixed back and go back to the way it's supposed to look. So I do recommend having some type of overdraft protection set up with your bank, and also either go online or contact your bank to see what their overdraft policies are and how their overdrafts work, because it's different from bank to bank.
I did include, am I back on? I did put in the chat the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau about the loophole for the overdraft fees and what the cap is. So it is $5.
Mm-hmm. And then, okay, so understanding your disposable income. So this is understanding your net monthly. Again, your net monthly is after you have subtracted your total expenses from your total net income. And so again, so either you're gonna be at a zero, so your income is going to equal your expenses. So that's kind of where that term living paycheck to paycheck kind of comes from, because every month you're pretty much breaking even. And then you're going to be positive. So whenever you're positive, you have more income than expenses. So that's why I was saying, where you have a cushion that starts to develop in your checking account that will roll over to the next month. And if you're positive every month, then that cushion is going to compound on top of each other. So that means your cushion in your checking account can get bigger and bigger. And then if you're negative, that means you have more expenses than income. So that's where you can have a situation where you overdraft in your account, and then you might have fees associated with overdrafting. Sometimes you might be negative, but because you were positive the month before, then you're not negative in your bank account. But if you're only analyzing your income and expenses from the first day of the month to the last day of the month, and that's negative, then that means that you're eating into that cushion that you had the month before. So that's why it's very important when you're doing the budget plan, you can tell if you're going to be positive at the end of the month, or you're going to be negative at the end of the month based on how you plan to spend the income that you're expecting for the month. So you always want to make sure that you're positive, because if you're positive, you're going to be building a cushion. If you break even every month, then you're still at risk of 1 month going negative. So you do want to make sure that you're being positive for within that month. So this is not even looking at your bank account, like your balance in your bank account. You only want to look at how much you spent and how much you earned within that month to determine what your total total monthly net is. So here are ways at cutting unnecessary expenses. So just say, for instance, maybe you're negative in the month, or you're breaking even, and you're trying to create a positive cushion in your checking account. One way is to reduce non-essential spending. So that would be things that do not pertain to your basic needs. So this can be limit dining out, limit non-essential shopping, as well as canceling unused subscriptions. So you have that gym membership and you haven't been to the gym in 6 months. Maybe you want to cancel the gym membership. Or even like if you have like entertainment subscriptions, like streaming services, and you haven't watched that streaming service in months, or you haven't used that service in months, you're going to want to analyze, like, can you cancel those subscriptions? Or if you just want to cancel them until you're in a better place, you can still cancel subscriptions until you're in a better place, and then sign up for the subscription at a later time. But look at what is your non-essential spending and how you can reduce non-essential spending. Next is smart shopping. So think of some smart ways to shop to where you can save money over time. So it can be buying in bulk, using coupons, shopping sales, and comparing prices at different retailers. I don't know, based on what's been going on with groceries, lately, I've been going to like 3 grocery stores now to save money. I'm
but
at
how much are you spending
Trader
in
Joe's to
gas
get
now to get from store to store? Oh my gosh.
So I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I go because I live in the kind of in the Loop area. So I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, go to Trader Joe's because Trader Joe's got the cheapest eggs. And so I go there to save on eggs. And you have to get there at 8 o'clock because they only put 20 cartons out a day. So I get up 8 o'clock, go to Trader Joe's, get everything that's the cheapest things there. Then I go to HEB. I've been going to Fiesta lately to get some things that I deem is cheaper than HEB, or I might go to Kroger's and get some things. But I feel like with what's going on now with groceries, I've turned to my mom. Because my mom, when I was a kid, every Saturday morning, we was at 10 different stores. I swear we was at stores all day long. And my mom was shopping different sales. She had her little newspaper and she was shopping all these different sales and she had her coupons. I am my mom now because now I'm like going to 3 different stores to save 50 cents.
Hey, whatever it takes, every little bit of 50 cents helps. That adds up. But that's where community comes in at. You better start to get to know your neighbors and who's got a Costco card or who's got a Sam's Club card. You buy the spaghetti, I'll buy the sauce. And y'all better swap off every month, whatever it's gonna take. Somebody else down the block buy the bread, whatever it's gonna take.
Yeah, we share a Sam's card with our daughter. So she has the card and she can put additional family members on there. So we have a card too. So that's, we use that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and hopefully she's not coming to your house to do laundry or go grocery shopping like mine does. So
well, you know what we do? We actually take turns with Sunday dinner. Sometimes we'll take turns with Sunday dinner. Some Sundays I'll fix dinner. Some Sundays she'll fix dinner. We'll just, put
there
stuff together. Yeah. So you do have to come up with some creative ways.
Yes.
Indeed. The local farmers market. I don't know if anybody's in the OST South Union area, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, up from 7:30 to 9 a.m. He's out there giving away free produce. He cannot not give that stuff away. People are just not coming by there to pick up free produce. But over at the Palm Center Community Garden, 7:30 to 9 a.m., Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right now, I think he says they've got Swiss chard, lettuce, collard greens. They just started planting the okra and the tomatoes and something else he's planting right now. They still have stuff over there. Whatever it takes.
Email me that information because I eat vegetables, a lot of vegetables. And that's why I'm starting to have to go to all these different stores because the price is going up. And the other thing, like just going back to non-essential spending. So a lot of things that I've started doing it myself, and then I've been seeing this on social media, is everybody is learning to do things themselves now. So, one thing I did, I learned how to do my own nails at home. So I don't have to pay $100 a month to go to the nail salon or how much you spend on nails. I do my own nails. And then other thing I've learned learning like other like beauty things, learning how to do your own hair, things like that to reduce, because what happens is once you buy your supplies, then that's it. You should have enough supplies to last you so many months to where you can do things yourself. Also, like I think about like meal prepping too can kind of help save on like your grocery bill, like learning how, like I know Sam's have a pasta salad that my friends like they'll buy in bulk for parties. So I'm like, oh, I really like that pasta salad, but I don't have a Sam's card, and it's $10 for like this small carton of it. So I just learned how to make it myself at home. So that's another thing to like help you reduce spending, is learning how to do things yourself, because then that can save on you paying someone else to do it, or it can save on spending a lot of money on, like if it's a particular branded item, If you can recreate the recipe at home, then you can save money by buying the ingredients yourself and creating it. If it's like a certain restaurant that you love to go eat out at all the time, maybe go online and see if there's some type of recipe that's similar to that restaurant that you like to eat out at, and you cook it at home instead of going out to eat. You cook that meal at home. So just coming up with clever ways to kind of reduce the non-essential spending, but then also when it's shopping for your basic groceries, just getting smarter at shopping. Also download the apps to all the grocery stores, the apps to the gas stations, retail stores as well. I don't know how many times, like even like with like if you like Bath and Body Works, I be getting free stuff all the time. And then same thing with the grocery stores. I always go through all the grocery store apps to see, like same thing Target too. I go through all the apps to see who got coupons for the things that I need. Now, what I don't do is I don't shop the coupons. You know, like you going through the coupons and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna buy that because there's a coupon for it. Sometimes that can lead you to spending more money when you're shopping the coupons. I only go and I look for coupons that fit what I need to buy. And then, so I basically just search what I want or need to buy, and I look for the coupon for that. So download those apps, because that's how you get coupons when you are signed up as a member to these different stores. That's how you get those coupons and know like special sales and see ads and things like that.
There's an app too. When I used to coupon, I used to bulk coupon. There was an app that showed you, that did a comparison of prices. So if you put in eggs, it'll give you all the stores and who has the cheapest eggs on sale or whatever, or who has whatever item on sale based on what's in the circular. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it in the chat as well.
And then there's lower utility bills. So again, like I said, review your utility bills for savings every month. Because sometimes, you can pay attention to trends with your electricity. Like, have your electricity gone up? Like, what can you do to lower your energy, water consumptions? Same thing with like what I said, when you get your utilities and maybe you're on a certain promotion, or you have a contract for so many months and now your contract ended and you need to go back and do a new contract and talk to the utility company to make sure that your bills are not going up. So make sure you're reviewing your utility bills for savings, and contacting your utility company to see how you can save on those bills. And then the other thing, just making sure you're able to pay your bills on time, because that's going to reduce those added fees. And so also you do want to check for fees as well, because again, sometimes things be changing and now they got some new fee that you didn't know about. And then also if you need to change companies, or because I know like with electricity, you have Texas Choice where you can shop different utility companies. So if your utility contract has ended, maybe you want to shop around and look for a lower energy rate at a different utility company. Or like with your phone bill, maybe your phone is paid off now, you want to switch phone services or internet services. So just make sure you're looking at your utility bill to see how you can save money that way. And then lastly, reducing debts. So paying off debts, if possible, can free up income. So if you pay off your credit card, you don't have that minimum payment anymore. If you had like a personal loan, you pay off the personal loan, then you don't have that that personal loan payment anymore. So that can free up income. So just say, for instance, like I said, tax time is here. Everybody is filing taxes or getting refunds. Maybe you want to use that money to pay off that small credit card or pay off the rest of that loan you owe. Or maybe you your car note is about to be paid off and you have enough to just pay it off completely. And now you have those extra funds in your budget. So paying off debts, paying down your credit card balance is going to reduce the minimum payment. So just paying off debts and reducing your debts is definitely going to free up income in your budget. And then also reframing from using credit is going to also allow you to have that additional income. So just not using your credit cards, just like, was it Anthony's budget spending we were looking at? You know, did Anthony really need to buy those tennis shoes? He didn't need to buy the tennis shoes. He didn't need the new Jordans or whatever. He didn't need that. So reframing from using your credit cards and spending on your credit card is going to allow you to keep those minimal payments low, and also keeping those debt balances low so you can pay them off and free up some income.
Let me say something on that note.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You said he didn't have to. You said he didn't have to buy those shoes, right? I got it. But I didn't see his history, right? So because I didn't see his history, what if he never buys anything and that one time he decided to swipe, right?
Yeah.
That's okay, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My dad always says, don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. And you got to pay because there's nothing worse than feeling like I've been working all this time just to pay bills. I got to do something for myself at least every pay period, something. I don't care what it is, if it's something small, because nobody wants to feel like they're just working to pay bills. So if Mr. Anthony wants to go buy those shoes every 6 months, Mr. Anthony, if it's in your budget to go buy your shoes every 6 months, you go ahead and get your shoes every 6 months.
Bath and Body Works, I may have some candles.
And Miss April, don't you stop him. So Mr. Anthony, don't say nothing to Miss April when those Amazon packages start coming to the house either. So if it's in her budget to do it, then let her have at it.
I only bring it.
Live and let them. Live and let them.
I only bring it up because I'm Anthony, right? I never buy myself anything. I wear the same pair of shoes forever, so.
I'm like you,
Yeah.
And that's quite all right.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, as long as it's fitting in your budget, but when you are using credit as an extension of income, then that's where it becomes an issue. So I mentioned that about when we were looking at his daily spend, I mentioned that because he did have a credit card payment on that. It was only $50, but he spent a lot on his credit card that month. So I made that statement because it could be seen that with that spending, he could be using his credit card as an extension of income. So I do feel like you should treat yourself as much as possible. I mean, you can do whatever you want with your money, as long as you're living within your income and you're also meeting certain financial goals that you have in mind. Because even in my own personal budget, I have a little budget line for shopping because I already know I'm gonna go and buy something from Target or Amazon, something. So I budgeted because I make sure that it's just part of my budget plan. So you can make that about part of your budget plan. If you know those new Jordans are coming out and they cost $500 and you have $500 to buy those new Jordans, so you're going to put that on your budget plan this month I'm buying the new Jordans are coming out. I'm buying them. So I do think that you should treat yourself, but definitely always look at ways to cut some of your unnecessary expenses, especially if you get into a financial crisis situation. Then you definitely want to start looking at how do you reduce expenses in order to get out of a financial crisis situation and get back to stability. And then next is increase in income. What are ways we can increase income? So if you feel like you're breaking even or you're negative every month, and maybe there is no way to cut expenses. Like we talked about, groceries is high, gas is about to go up some more. Just based on like the economy, things are going up. So it might be hard to cut some of your spending because you might be only spending your basic covering your basic needs. So what are ways we can increase income in order to be more financially stable? So of course you have your side hustles, freelancing, selling products online, offering services, ride sharing services, DoorDash type services. So there's so many different ways you can offer services or create like some side hustles to bring in some extra income each month. Then next, ask for a raise or change jobs. So you've been working at your company, you've been a loyal employee for a long period of time, and maybe you haven't received the raise yet, or you haven't received a big enough raise based on the industry salaries, based on your work duties. See if you can speak to your employer about a raise. I had a client one time, she found out she was being underpaid for the duties that she was doing. And so she went to HR and like talked to HR like, hey, I'm not being compensated properly for the duties. I'm doing duties outside the scope of what I'm being paid for. So sometimes you might need to analyze your pay, and if you can talk to your company about a raise or like changing your pay to meet your current value at that company. And then or consider a higher paying employment with that's supposed to be within your current company or a new company. So if your skills have changed and maybe there's a higher paying position at your job, or maybe a supervisor left and you've been working there, now you want to be in a supervisor role, what are ways that you can apply for higher paying positions within your current company? Or maybe look outside and find a new company to work at that pays more for the exact same job that you're doing. And then lastly, consider passive income. And so passive income can be investments, it can be rental properties or monetizing skills. That passive income can also be like selling products online. So I know like people maybe create a product and they place it on Amazon and they just sell that item on Amazon for some passive income. Also, if you're able to have a rental property, or maybe you you have a home and you're going to move into a bigger home, you could turn the old home into a rental property. So what are ways you can create passive income and or monetize skills that you have? And then now we're at the budgeting tools that Mr. Lawrence asked about. So we do have spreadsheets are an option for you to manage and track your budget. There are free spreadsheets on Excel because Excel do have some good templates. Google Sheets has some good templates, but my favorite website is vertex42.com, because that website has the budget form that I like to use, that I've been using for years with my clients. And I believe I sent the copy to Nia, and she usually sends it out after our presentation. But there are different options to find free budget templates. Also, you can go on Etsy. There are people who are selling budget templates on Etsy, and it might cost you like $5 or something, because you definitely want to get a spreadsheet or a spreadsheet template that fits you and that's easy for you to manage. I know some people out there like myself, we like aesthetically pleasing things. So I might go on Etsy and like, oh, okay, they got some cute little pink budget sheets or something. So just find like what spreadsheets work best for you. If you're not very good at using Excel or Google Sheets, then and you like journaling, there are tons of budget journals. You can find budget journals that are affordable on Amazon. I'm pretty sure Shein have them too. What's that other site? Temu. Yeah. You can go on Walmart. If you go over, and it's like a little aisle with notebooks and stuff. They'll sometimes have budgeting journals over at Walmart and at Target. I've seen them at Michael's too. Like they'll have like an option for like a budgeting journals at Michael's.
And
So
also
you can,
like Office Depot, like after the first of the year, they'll have like the calendars and the whole little
mhm.
thing, the little journals and notebooks and stuff. Probably sometime around February, like March or April, they tend to kind of start marking them down after the people have bought all their 2025 calendars. I've seen quite a few of those that have been marked down at like Office Depot. So check like the office supply stores and Staples and things like that too.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised. They probably sell them at Dollar Tree as well. 'Cause I know Dollar Tree sells like planners and things like that. So there's tons of options to find affordable budget journals if you're someone who likes to journal and write things down. And then there's budget apps as well. I didn't put any particular apps, so I would definitely say you could check your app store and see what budget apps are available. But the reason why I didn't put a particular app is because since mint.com is not available anymore, I don't know what budget apps are free. So I usually like to give options that are free. But there are a lot of different budgeting apps. I know there's one called YNAB. You Got a Budget. I think that's what the acronym is for, that a lot of people talk about. And then I think of Credit Karma. So Credit Karma, somehow I think mint.com is part of Credit Karma now. So I think if you want to use the budgeting services that mint.com offer, then you have to go through Credit Karma to use it.
And then your banks, your bank, the online apps that your bank uses, they usually have like a budget tool there too, and they'll do their own little tracking and kind of show you where you've been spending your money as well.
Yeah, so I actually use the budgeting tool on my my online bank. So I prefer the website because it's a little bit easier to look at. But on your the banking mobile app, you can see your budget tool. I know like with mine, they changed it up on my bank. So I have to ask the AI to tell me what my spending is for the month, and it'll create a little pie chart and tell me, okay, this is how much you spend in all these different categories. So I do prefer the online website because maybe not all banks, but some banks, they do allow you to go in and adjust your transactions, because sometimes those budgeting systems that that put the things in categories for you, they might put transactions in the wrong category based on the name of the retailer or name of the service provider. So sometimes with those tools that does the categories for you, you have to go through each category and adjust some of your transactions just so you can get a little bit more of an accurate number. But it does make it easier and faster for you to fill out your budget sheets when you use those services. And then lastly is the envelope system. So I did talk about the envelope system earlier, where basically each envelope is a different expense. And then you determine how much you're going to spend on that expense at that month. And then you put your cash into that envelope. And then you can track your spending on the envelope or keep track of your receipts. So then at the end of the month, you can see how much you spent on your different expenses, and it can help you control your cash spending. Do anyone else have like some budget tools that they've used, or like any apps that you're using to budget?
Are you guys currently using a budget? Or you just know you need to get one? Or create one?
I'm a spreadsheet person. So I use the Vertex 42 spreadsheet. And like I said, Nia, she's gonna send the spreadsheet. But I have added to mine, so I've kind of customized it. That's the one thing I like about that free spreadsheet, because you can customize it. You can change your categories. I've added a debt tracker and asset tracker, so I can see everything.
I think there is a debt tracker that's on that one too.
Okay.
The second tab that's on it.
Because I have
I'm gonna open it and show what it looks like.
Yeah, because I have so many versions of it, because I've changed that spreadsheet so many times, because when I do financial coaching with a client, since it's client driven, when we do a budget sheet, then I customize the budget sheet to the client. So I've changed that budget sheet so many times. But let me tell you, when you're using these budget tools and you get into the habit of using them every month, then you do get a lot better with how you're spending your money. And I'm speaking from experience, because even doing it like every single, it's so much of a habit for me that I'll feel weird if I didn't sit down and fill out my budget. So like even throughout the month, I'm filling in things. So at the end of the month, all I really have to put in is variable spending at the end of the month. And it has,
I'm so bad about my receipts now with that money bag. This is my gas receipt and my lunch receipt that I went and got. It's been sitting in my pocket. So I'm like, okay, I got to remember to put it in my bag when I get home. So I keep it in my pocket. But you'd be surprised at how you start to develop those little habits, and then they just become routine for you. You don't even realize that you're doing it. So I forgot that these were sitting in my pocket because I'm used to collecting my receipts.
Yeah, and then the one thing that I've learned, and I've done this I challenged myself for a full year, because a lot of times sometimes I don't keep up with certain things, even as a coach, because we always say coaches need coaches too. So I challenged myself last year, like I am going to absolutely do this entire year and see what happens. And so a lot of good things happened because I was doing that every month. And one thing, when it comes to making certain financial decisions, I'm able to take that budget information and say, okay, well, I'm moving, my lease is up. Do I want to move to another apartment? Well, now I can analyze okay, well, does this rent fit into my current spending? Will it be make it tighter? Like, will I be saving money? So it does help you figure out how to make certain financial decisions that already fit your current spending habits. And I was even telling people, like, look, I got to go back and analyze my budget before I make it tell you yes or no. I got to see if this is going to work for me. It also give me ways to tell people no, too, because I'm like, oh, yeah, it's not going to work out. But, and then I've noticed this with my clients, too, the clients that are accurately tracking their spending. I've noticed that it has helped them make certain financial decisions. It's helped them increase their savings, reduce debts, which also, when you're reducing debt, that increases your credit score. And so I do know that doing this causes a lot of positive changes just in your life or whatever. And finding the right budget tool is going to help you maintain that discipline and help you build that habit and maintain that habit. Because I would tell you, if you pick the wrong budget tool, then you're not going to keep up with it. I decided that I was going to try the journal, and I already don't like writing in journals. Why I decided to use a budget journal, I don't know. I just wanted to try it and see if I was going to like it. It didn't work for me. So what ended up happening is I stopped tracking and paying attention. And so that's when I learned that the best thing for me is just to have a spreadsheet. Same thing with the apps. With the budget app, I was using mint.com. That was something that I just didn't keep up with. So you have to find the right budgeting tool for you. And even if you got to try different things and then find out what works for you, because that's going to help you build that discipline, and then it's going to change your habit, and you're going to be doing this every month, and then you're going to be noticing all of these different changes with your finances, and you'll notice how your financial situation just gets better. So moving into some best practices, complete your budget sheet using your bank statement transaction history. So we did talk about this earlier when it came to tracking your expenses and how you track your money. So just making sure if you're going to have an accurate budget spreadsheet, if you're going to be writing it down in a journal, or using these different tools, just make sure you're getting the accurate information from your bank account, or if you're tracking cash. If you're using cash, mostly track your spending by saving your receipts. Like Nia, she has the little bags for you to save your receipts, or you can use envelopes to save your receipts. Writing down spending at the time of the transaction is going to help you make sure that it's getting done. So if you was at Walmart, or you bought some groceries, soon as you get in your car, you can write down the transaction. We don't want you to hold up the line. So soon as you get in your car, you can write down that transaction that you spent that cash. And then, put your receipt somewhere so you can remember to save your receipt. And then also you're going to be using your bill statements again to gather information about your monthly expenses. And then pick one day of the month, preferably the first or last day, to go over your spending for the last month and create a plan for the upcoming month. So again, make it a date. Like, make it like this is your financial date with yourself. You're gonna sit down and you're gonna do everything financial. You're gonna look at all your spending, your income, check your debt balances. Especially if you're making payments on debts, you want to know how much what is your current balances at the end of the month. You want to check your saving balances. So you want to check everything each month just to see where you're at. And then lastly, do weekly check-ins to see if you're sticking to your plan, make adjustments if needed. So that's, throughout the month, your fixed expenses don't happen all on the same day. So as things are happening, go in and write that stuff down. So if you paid your utility bills, go on your budget sheet and write in that utility bill. Your subscriptions came out, go in and write those things while they're happening so you don't have a lot to do at the end of the month. And so all you have to do at the end of the month is write in your variable expenses, and then you're done. So it's not like you're sitting there for hours going through your tracking and transaction history to fill out the budget sheet. Write those things in throughout the month. Do weekly check-ins, see how you're spending for that week to make sure you're not getting too close to what your plan is, especially when it comes to variable spending like eating out. Like if you decide that, okay, each week I'm only going to spend $20 eating out. I know $20 eating out. So then you want to check in weekly to make sure you're sticking to that. So just make sure you're checking in and writing things on your budget throughout the month and making adjustments as needed. Now that you have the tools to budget, here are some key takeaways. Budgeting gives you control over your finances. So again, like I said, just from personal experience as well as working with financial coaching clients, I've seen how they've gotten better control over their finances, cut unnecessary expenses, and explore additional income sources, manage your debts wisely, and then build an emergency fund. So having an emergency fund is going to make sure that you have funds available for an emergency, so you do not have to use credit to cover an emergency, which is going to add an extra expense in your budget. So managing your debts or keeping your debts down to a minimum, having an emergency fund is going to help you manage to not add expenses to your budget, and then stay consistent and then make adjustments as needed. So again, like if you're going to use a budget tool, find the right tool that's going to help you stay consistent with it. And then again, if you need to make adjustments, make those adjustments as needed, because again, like things change. With the cost of living is changing, your income might change. So just make sure that you're making those adjustments. Are there any questions or anything that anyone wants to add before I go into Family Houston Services?
I don't have any questions in the chat or online.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yep, go ahead, Mr. Lawrence.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Coach. So, Coach, I'm a
Put me in the
coach.
game, coach.
Coach, I'm a coach, and I need help with my money management and finances. So, what are your services? What do you charge? How does that
There's no
work?
charge.
Oh yeah, so Family Houston, we do not charge for our services. I am so sorry. Let me go back to this. Family Houston do not charge for our services. So we do offer free financial and employment coaching to the Houston community. And we do have coaches in different areas of Houston. So we have like the Central Houston, Bay Area, Clear Lake area, Waller, Katy, and then
Nice.
Fort Bend. And cause we are grant funded, so we do receive grant funding in order to provide this service for free. And then all of our coaches, I know this says financial coach, but I am a financial stability coach now, so I do both career and financial coaching. So like as I spoke earlier, if you need to increase your income and you want to change jobs or you want to negotiate with your current company, then that's where that career coaching might be helpful. And then my contact information, this is my direct contact information if you want to schedule an appointment for coaching services. And then we do have a new initiative. So before, Family Houston only offered these services to 18 and up. But now we have a youth initiative. So we're offering the coaching services within our youth program. It's called Youth on the Move. And that program services youth from age 14 to 24. And what we're providing with that service is, of course, the free financial and career coaching. We are offering job placement opportunities through that program, as well as this some other resources available. We also are going to be offering workshops, or we can go to an organization and provide a workshop. So just like I'm providing a workshop with Nia for NRCDC, we can also, through the youth program, I can go and do workshops for youth and young adults to learn more about what we're learning today, because we want them to be responsible adults, especially graduating from high school and while they're in college, or if they don't choose to go to college, we still want them to learn how to manage their money and build credit and start and then as well as think about their careers and things like that. So that's another free program that we offer through the NBA Foundation grant. So again, we have two programs. We have the Youth on the Move, and then we have our general financial stability coaching for adults available. And for both of those programs, you can contact me directly and I can schedule those appointments for both programs.
Hey, Monet, we've got two people that are on the phone. I don't know if they can see the chat or if they can see the screen. Can you say it aloud what your contact information is so that they'll know as well?
My direct cell phone, and you can call and text me, is 832-987-2023. And my email is M as in Mary, C as in cat, H as in Henry, E as in elephant, N as in Nancy, E as in elephant, Y as in yo-yo at familyhouston.org. So that's M Chaney at familyhouston.org.
And I did include the Family Houston link in the chat box as well. So all the links that I put in the chat, you guys can click on it. It'll open up the websites directly, but I will also include those into the email that I send out to everybody. So her contact information, these resources, a copy of the budget spreadsheet, and a link of this recording will all be sent out to you guys as well.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you have to be any kind of financial?
No income.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Income, yeah. All right. Oh, thank you. All right.
Yes, and then like I said, we are here to help the whole family now. So if you have teenagers, and because I know when my son is an adult now, but when he was a teenager and I was trying to talk to him about managing his money, he don't want to hear it from me. So
I'm still trying to tell my 30-year-old, but I don't know what I'm talking about. So,
yeah,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Send them our way. Or if you feel like, not everybody, if you feel like there's more for you and your kids to know about, Like I said, we have programs for adults and for the teens and the young adults, so we can make sure everybody is getting this information.
And if anybody is interested in any of these 30-day bags, when I send out my email link, just respond back to me or reply, say, hey, can you mail me out a couple of these bags? Or I need a few of these for my students or people in my class or whomever, so that we can all start getting people conscious of how they're spending their money. And I'll be more than happy to send you out some of these bags.
Hey, just a suggestion. The bags are cool. What do you think about taking a picture of the receipt, and then, when you have your sit down, when you sit down to work on your budget, you go through and, organize
Whatever,
it.
whatever works for you. Whatever your bag is that you need to keep up with, however it is, whether it's a physical plastic bag, the pictures on the phone, the envelope,
Yeah.
whatever, the notebook
I was,
in your back pocket, but
I was
it doesn't matter.
I was just throwing it out there as a suggestion. That's all. Even though I
Okay.
still, even though I still don't do it, I don't keep up with it. But
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
could not keep up with the receipts either, so I got to use my card, because if I get cash, I will hold on to cash for months and not even know I had. I'm like, oh, I got some cash in my wallet. Like, I'm so used to everything, like doing everything digitally. Honestly, if something happened where we couldn't use our phones in some cases, then I don't know what I'll be able to do.
And that somehow sits in the back of my mind. It's like I've always got to have a stash of cash somewhere for me to be able to get to, just in case I can't get to a bank. I can't get, and I don't never like using my phone anyway, but if I can't use my card, if I need to or whatever, I gotta have some actual cash. And you'd be surprised as to how many kids that don't know how to count money. You'd be
Oh
so
yeah.
surprised at how many people that don't know how to actually count money. We had a reverse mortgage presentation yesterday. We were talking about writing checks for your mortgage payment. And they were like, do people still write checks? Do people even know how to write a check? Do they even still make checks? I know I still have them, but you'd be surprised at how some folks don't even know some of the basics. But also, I just want to add to everybody is that the purpose of the financial capability series is so that you can be aware that you are financially capable of making whatever decision it is that you need to make about your own finances. It's not up to us to judge or to tell or to say what you need to be doing with your money. If your savings goal is to buy those shoes, then that is your savings goal. And if you want Monet to help sit you down and walk you through a budget or to set up a plan for you to buy those shoes every 6 months or however, that's your goal. That's your prerogative. That's what it is that you want to do. But it's just to kind of make you to think about, and which is our first workshop in the series, is what your relationship is like with your money and how you need to treat your relationship with your money like you treat all your other relationships. If you abuse the people in your life just like you abuse your money, eventually it's going to go away. You know what I mean? It's going to end. The relationship is going to suffer if you don't treat your money right. So it's just keeping you aware of what that relationship is like. And so many people are used to doing certain things a certain way that they don't know how to do things in different ways because that's how my mama did it. That's how my grandmama did it. Or nobody ever showed me how to budget. Nobody ever, talked about actually paying bills and things of that nature just because they didn't. Or sometimes parents like myself, sometimes I am guilty of it, where let me go ahead and do all of this so my kids can focus on this right here instead of this is how you sit down and actually pay a bill. This is how you sit down and actually manage your money and balance a checkbook or check your registry and track all of your spending and things like that, because it's so what you're so used to just doing. So it's just to kind of get you, again, aware of there's different ways of doing things. There's different ways to create different habits. And it's just finding whatever that balance is for you, creating that goal for your own self and not for anybody else to tell you or to judge you about what it is that you do with your money or choose not to do with your money or whatever. It is completely up to you. But just know that there are options that are out there. We got some folks, somebody had actually asked about how do you budget when you're trying to go from being a renter to a homeowner. It's the same thing. It's nothing different. You still got to treat, regardless if you're trying to buy a house or buy a car or buy a pair of shoes, you still have to do everything pretty much the same way. You have to first become conscious of what you have. Because again, you get a paycheck, but some people can't even tell you how much they actually make. They just know it gets direct deposited and don't even pay attention to it. So be aware of what you have, be aware of how you're spending it, and be aware of what you have left over. And if there's a shortfall somewhere, or if you realize I got to go start selling some barbecue dinners or selling some cookies in the hair shop or something to kind of make the ends meet, then hey, we got to do what we got to do if that's what the goal is. But if that's what the goal is, sit down with somebody and help plan it out. That's all. I'll get off my soapbox now.
Does Monet, I know you had on there that you're a financial coach. Do you do taxes and anything else?
No, so I'm only a certified.
Strategic money
Planning.
management, investment. I don't know.
No, so I'm not. So yeah, for investments, you do have to be certified in investments. So no, I'm not a certified financial advisor. So like Nia was saying, like we don't judge you. Like, so it's a judge-free zone with financial coaching. Is very client-based. I don't tell you what to do with your money. We really just kind of strategize and go over different tools and resources that are available to you. Okay, in some cases, there are only one way of doing something. So yeah, so that might sound more like an advice or me telling you what to do, but I'm not really telling you what to do. I'm telling you there's only one way of doing this, but it's up to you to do it. So I don't do the work for you. I'm there to make sure, like, to hold you accountable and make sure that I'm teaching you how to do things, how you want to do them. Yeah, I'm not a certified advisor, so I can't advise on investments or tell you how to spend your money. But if you are interested in investments, in retirement plans, mutual funds, like all those different things, I will put it on your for your financial goals, that's what you want to do. And then we can talk about, okay, well, where can I find a financial advisor, or how do I choose a financial advisor? And then I'll make sure, like, hey, Mr. Blackwell, did you look up some financial advisors? Did you set up an appointment? Like, that would be part of our check-in, because I do feel like people should have a team of people in their lives.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with, I'm not a CPA or a tax professional, so I definitely would not give advice on taxes. So I would definitely help you find a certified tax professional that you can talk to. And then again, it'll be part of your action steps. Did you find a CPA to talk to? Or right now, Baker Ripley, they have a free tax center where you can go and get your taxes done for free, as well as they offer some tax advice. So you can definitely call them to get advice. And I know a lot of people are scared of the IRS, but you can call the IRS to ask questions. They are not going to do anything to you. So you can call the IRS if you have questions, tax questions. So
you're just gonna wait on the phone forever.
Yeah, you're gonna wait forever. But yeah, if you are someone who do your own taxes and you have questions, there are tax. I would recommend talking to a tax professional, or if you have complicated taxes then I would recommend going to a CPA. And then that would just be part of the things that I check in when I'm checking in with you every month. Hey, did you get your taxes done? Did you get those questions answered? But yeah, I'm not certified in those areas, but I'll make sure you find somebody that you can talk to.
And then when you get that tax refund, what do you plan to do with it? How do you plan to save? Where do you want to save? What would you like to do with this?
I'm gonna take Miss Monet out to lunch for saving me.
I did include
you
I
too,
did
Nia. You too. You invited too.
All right. I did include the link for the Baker Ripley Vita sites. Every year they have the volunteer income tax assistance services that they do offer for free. So those are volunteers that they do train. So if you're unsure, unaware, or whatever, make sure you still do your research on what they're doing. So again, it's just a free service that's out there that is available if somebody would like to contact Baker Ripley for that.
I do want to add, I also do not offer legal advice. So if there's something like, just say for instance, people do get sued by creditors, then I would say, hey, did you reach out to a lawyer that deal with debts? So I know like Lone Star Legal Aid is available if you make under a certain income. There's other like free law services out there as well that you can tap into if there's
they're all partners of a monthly service.
Yes.
Yeah, there's let's see, Lone Star Legal Aid right there, Earl Carl Institute. Down here we have Houston Volunteer Lawyers,
Legal Clinic. So yeah,
Lone Star.
It depends on the attorney that you get, and that's with all of them. And even that's like with the Vita sites, it just depends on the person that you're talking to.
Yeah.
So.
And if you have questions about bankruptcy, I'm not a bankruptcy counselor either. So I do have a resource that I refer clients to for bankruptcy counseling. And then as well as you will have to seek legal help. But again, everything that I'm not certified to do, I'm going to make sure that's part of your action plan to find those individuals that are certified to do those things, so we can make sure I'm holding you accountable to those actions and you get those things taken care of.
As part of our debt management presentation that we're doing, we decided in June, we are going to have a bankruptcy attorney that's going to be on for that presentation. Is it bankruptcy or the debt collection attorney is going to be on for that one?
Are you going to have people on that one teaching how to do credit card stacking or anything like that? That was a
credit
joke.
card.
I said credit card stacking. I was being funny. Credit card
stacking? Well, credit is next month's class. So hold up. So what we need to know that we need to research on before, so we'll know what we're talking about.
We're going to do a debt management class later this year. So we're going to have a credit class that's talking about the basics of credit and understanding credit. But then we also do a debt management class talking about like paying off debts, credit repair type strategies as well. When is that? June. We do the
June 4th.
But I will say, if you can attend a class like with a lawyer talking about collections and how to deal with collection agencies and things like that, I would say I highly recommend attending those because you really want to know what they can legally do based on the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if you can attend a class that with a lawyer going over debt collection, I would highly recommend attending because usually you're going to learn a lot of good information when it comes to doing credit repair and dealing with debt collectors. Also dealing with like credit card companies will sue you. So So you want to know how to manage that and understand that process. So there are any classes where lawyers are speaking on those things, I would definitely recommend attending those courses or classes.
So that one, since that one is in June, I can schedule
Next month, we're going to
the
do
first.
credit basics. Yeah, so we'll talk about the basics of credit. So your credit score, credit reports, and then, how to build your score and everything.
The debt collection one can be for June 3rd. So it'll be before we do this debt management class. So I can have that one June 3rd.
Yeah, so I recommend to attend that because you can learn a lot from a lawyer when it comes to how to deal with debt collectors and what they can and cannot do legally.
I wanted to also share here real quick the spreadsheet that I'm going to send out so that they can see what it looks like. You all see that? What is this? Do this. Can you see the screen?
Yes, look, it's black.
Hmm.
Okay, there we go.
That is.
Okay. So that's what the monthly budget spreadsheet looks like. And then the link is here to the Vertex 42. So you can always click on that link and it'll take you directly to that website too, that you can see other templates and things that they'll have and other calculators. So for that person that was also asking about budgeting to purchase a home, there is mortgage calculators and things like that that are actually on there as well too.
Yeah, they have paycheck calculators too. So if you're starting a new job, you just kind of want to have an idea or kind of estimate what your pay might be for the month. Then there's paycheck calculator. It's not fully accurate, but it is. It does kind of give you an idea to kind of help you plan for the month.
So you can customize this and kind of change these things out like as you need to. You can change whatever, and then it's linked to this debt tracker. So as you're inputting information here, it tracks it on this sheet.
Oh, it'd be cool if your cards and all that stuff was linked to it, your cell phone, and that way, as you purchase, it's updating.
Automatically populated. There is one.
That's a little bit advanced. That's some advanced things right there. We're gonna have to get us a coder.
I was just thinking that would be really cool. If
the accounting software like Quicken or Quicken and Peachtree, but those softwares used to do that. So I know that with QuickBooks for certain, it can link to your bank account so that those transactions are automatically populated into those particular expenses. So there is software that's out there, but you got to pay for that. I don't think none of those are free.
Yeah, there's apps out there that, of course, you can use too, and you can connect. Mint.com used to do it, of course, because with Mint.com, you sign into all of your accounts, and then it creates the budget. I think you can download a spreadsheet version, but I don't know how it works on Credit Karma. But there are some apps and probably budgeting websites that you can do that with, where you can connect them. It was something else I was going to say about. Oh, I want to say this: if you do not have Excel, because I know with Microsoft Excel, you have to pay for a subscription for personal accounts to have it on your computer. Or if you work somewhere that uses Excel, Google Sheets are free. So Vertex, they have a version for Google Sheets. So if you have then you can use those spreadsheets without having to pay for Excel, because Google Sheets are free. But Google Sheets is free. So if you don't want to pay for Excel, then it gives you both options.
Well, this has definitely been one of the more interactive groups that we've had in a little
We
while.
have
So I'm glad y'all stuck
fun.
around. We're a little over our time, but that's okay. So thank y'all very much for your participation. Is there anything anybody else would like to add or to ask? While we're here, we'd be more than happy to answer your questions while we have time. But we certainly want to thank you all for joining us this evening. And yeah, because you could have been doing some other things other than sitting here with us on the computer today. So thank y'all.
Thank you all very
Yes,
much. It was
thank
very
you all.
helpful.
You're
Absolutely.
Will there
welcome.
be
And
a,
thanks for being good sport, Mr. Anthony. Go get your shoes.
Y'all
I'll do that.
will,
have
will
a good
there be a
evening.
after action review?
I'm sorry.
I said, will there be an after action review?
And after action review, that will be the one-on-one. Well, if you'd like to do the follow-up, we can certainly schedule something like, hey, 6 months from now, y'all came to this budgeting class. Where are you at right now with your budget? If you like, it's up to you.
And then with the one-on-one coaching, I schedule you every month so I can check in and see where those changes are happening. And then Family Houston, part of when I have your case, I put in information so I can track like if your savings is going up, your credit score is changing. So then after so many months, if you want to go over everything, then we're like, okay, well look, in 6 months, your credit score increased, and this is where your credit score is, or in 6 months, your savings, you have more money in your savings. So if you're engaged in coaching, then we'll be tracking that progress with you.
What is that? September? Let me see.
6 months from now. Oh yeah, around September.
Trying to think of what can I come up with for Mr. Lawrence so everybody can come back here and join us in person. Maybe we'll have like a little bar. Since we used to, no joke, we used to do these classes in person, and I used to feed people. You know, have them dinner because you know that you're coming after work or what have you. In September, we can have a follow-up, maybe like a Labor Day barbecue kind of dinner or something. Have y'all come in and give your testimony, give a story. Hey, what's going on with you? Just give us an update. I'll be more than happy to do that.
When I asked that question, I was asking more along the lines of an after action review about today's session as far as pros and cons and feedback. So that's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you want to give us feedback, yes.
All right.
Well, then we also got a survey. So as soon as this screen pops off, there's a link to a survey that pops up. So if you want to give us your thoughts, if there are, because we have a whole variety of different classes that we actually offer. We have first-time homebuyer education classes that we do once a month. Those are the HUD certified classes that completes the educational requirement in order for someone to be able to apply for any down payment assistance. So where you'll receive your certificate after you talk with your counselor. We have our other financial capability classes within our series: debt management, savings, life insurance, living wills and investments. We do those throughout the year. Wills, estate planning, property tax protests, and property tax exemptions, clearing title for heirship property, a variety of different legal workshops when it comes to debt collection, bankruptcy, tax law, child custody, family, whatever. We do those every single month. Maintaining and adding value to your home. So there's a lot of different workshops that we currently offer. So if there's something that you guys are interested in that we don't offer, then definitely let us know and complete that survey so that we can make sure that we kind of update as we go.
You control the classes as far as what gets scheduled and whatnot?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
For our organization. Yes.
Are you also the same person that responded to me on Facebook?
I probably did.
Oh,
that was
somebody,
me. Yeah, because
somebody
you said
responded and said, "Oh, go ahead."
Well, thanks for joining us, or you look forward to joining. Yep, that was me. That was me.
Okay. Yeah, because I had asked the question, "Hey, are these classes recorded? I might not be able to make all of them, but I would love to see, if I can't make it or whatever. So that.
And if you cannot make the classes in person, if you go online to register, like I said, after this, that email is going to go out to everybody that registered. So if you don't
Okay.
get to attend, at least you'll get the link and the recording so that you can go back and watch it, and you'll have all the resources that go along with it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Is there any way to have something like an email or something sent just to confirm that we did attend this? Because we're doing this for a home buyer program, and I didn't know.
Which one, Agape?
Agape, yeah. Or do you all
Okay.
send?
If you send me an email, I'll send the verification form over to SOCI and to them over there. So I'm aware.
Okay.
But send me an email, say, hey, I'm with Agape, I need my verification of attendance.
Okay, and then we're doing another one tomorrow. The one on the
Wheels
wheel.
and estate planning.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Okay.
Shoot me an email afterwards, so I'll know.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So are we gonna see you at the home buyer class too? That's at the end of the month.
We're actually doing a home. No, we're not there yet. We're trying to buy a home there. We're not even there yet. We're actually doing a home. Yeah.
All the more reason.
Yeah. We're doing a home buyer
That you'll know
class.
what the process.
Yeah, we're doing one on actually Saturday, but it's actually here where we are in Charlotte.
Okay, all right, gotcha. All right.
So.
Well,
You
thank
say
y'all
you're in
very
Charlotte?
much. Yeah.
Did you say you're in
I saw
Charlotte?
her. Charlotte, North Carolina. Yes, sir.
Oh wow. Wow. I thought this was just for Houstonians.
No, well, see, that's why I said once we go online with this platform, anybody can watch us from anywhere.
Oh.
So I'm assuming that they're planning on moving to the Houston area, which is why they're attending.
My wife and kids are in Fayetteville.
Yeah, and I can do virtual coaching too. So if you don't live in Houston, we can still meet for financial coaching because we can do Zoom or a phone call. I do Zoom for the first appointment, and then for follow-ups, we can do phone calls for follow-ups.
Okay.
And my daughter goes to school in Salisbury.
Oh, okay. I know. Where did she go to?
And her
A&T?
to Livingstone.
Oh, she goes to Livingstone. Oh, okay. Our grandson just applied there.
Yeah.
Does she like it? Oh,
loves it.
That's good.
She loves it. Let me go offline. Thank y'all, whoever's joining us online, because we're going to get all off subject right now. So
thank you. And I'll send you that email.
All right, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Let me just stop.
Bye-bye.
Stop recording.
Yes, thank you guys for coming.
I just want to make sure I stop the recording so that way we don't